Like many of you, we battled depression during life's ups and downs.
Music has always been the one thing that we could rely on to get us through the tough times that we all face.
Follow us on our journey as we discuss the healing power of music,
Interview bands,
break down genres,
review band biographies,
and more.
This is the When Words Fail
Music Speaks podcast
with Blake Mosley
and James Cox. For listening to When Words Fail Music Speaks podcast, I'm your professional handicapped host, James Cox. And I have another great, awesome interview with us today. His name is Craig Addy. And first, let me tell you about him. From Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, is pianist Craig Addy. Craig attended the University of British Columbia, where he obtained 2 music degrees, A.B. M.U.S. from the University of British Columbia, and the ARCT Performer's Diploma from the Royal Conservatory of Music in Toronto. Wow. Okay. That's awesome.
Sounds impressive.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. Greg has a unique opportunity in which way the listener can feel the music instead of just listening to it. We are happy to talk to him today. How are you doing, Mr. Craig?
I'm doing great. Here in Vancouver, it's just 5 o'clock and the sun is shining and I'm overlooking the water. I see sailboats and it's beautiful here right now.
So I guess the weather is nice over there right now, right?
Right now it is. It's the spring, so it may be totally horrible by the time we wake up tomorrow. So
right, no, because I'm in South Carolina, USA, and it's weather's kind of wishy-washy. One day it's raining, next day it's sunny, next day it's cloud. Yeah. It doesn't know what to do with water. So so if I ever come to Canada, which sites do which sites do tourists seem to tour first?
Oh, well, in Vancouver, I mean, Vancouver is very, it's appreciated for its scenic beauty a great deal. So it's a city situated on a peninsula kind of. So the city is surrounded by water on 3 sides. And so we've got the ocean and then we've got mountains for skiing and everything on the North Shore. So a lot of people come here for that. It's just very beautiful. So there's a seawall just a couple blocks from me that goes all the way around the city. Nice. It takes 2 to 3 hours to walk the seawall. It's just really beautiful here.
Is there a lot of like musical events in Vancouver right now, or
we have our fair share of festivals, and we have a symphony orchestra here and various places for jazz and classical music and you name it. The Fringe Festival, various music festivals happen throughout the year. Yeah.
So can you explain to me, because I'm very new at this, what is an ABMUS? Is that like a bachelor?
A bachelor of music. That's
okay.
a bachelor of music.
I should know that, to be honest with you. And a ARCT Performers Diploma. I guess that's
ARCT is Associate of the Royal Conservatory of Toronto, I think is what ARCT means. And that's a national music training program in Canada. So many people, when they start as little kids, they start with the Royal Conservatory and they work all the way up to the top there when they get their final degree. Yeah.
Nice. So let's go back in time, form a little time machine here. What is your first music memory or your first memory of music?
My first memory of music.
Yeah,
I have such a vague memory of my childhood. I gotta be honest.
That's what I was saying. Let's bring you all the way back.
I don't know if I have it's interesting. No one's asked me that question before.
Nice.
You're the first person to have asked me that.
Right.
I don't know if I have a specific memory. I do know this though. My mom was, a good pianist herself. And when she was pregnant with me, she played Chopin and Schubert all the time.
Oh, wow.
So I do have a particular affinity to those two composers. I
Right.
mean, I do, especially Chopin. Um, but there's one particular Schubert sonata that she used to play that I just love whenever I hear it. So maybe that's why. So maybe that's my first memory.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I really don't have just like you. I really can't find in my mind the first music memory I have because I know my mom and dad took me to a lot of concerts back in Busch Gardens.
Yeah,
You know, I saw like Johnny Cash, and they say I saw him, and I don't know, I don't remember him. You know, and all these country artists, but I fail to remember what my first you know memory of like hearing music for the first time is. You know, it's very hard.
yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
I,
well, I mean, music was always around me. My mom was, a church organist when I was a child, and so we were always going to church, so there's always music there. And then my mom ended up running a kindergarten in the basement of our house, so that was full of musical instruments.
yeah,
I had lots of music around me all the time.
nice, nice.
Yeah,
So you mentioned that your mother was a pianist.
yeah.
So was that the first and only instrument that you took to really?
I tried other instruments. I played guitar for a little while when I was in high school, and was definitely encouraged to keep going because I was pretty good at it. Um, and then when I was in university, I played flute for a little bit. Again, encouraged to keep going, but I'm still not finished with the piano.
Right? Yeah, the
It
piano.
still has my full attention and my full interest.
I tell you,
Um,
man, the piano is like a magical instrument because I took uh, um piano music back when I was 10, I think I was,
uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
my sister was an avid piano student as well. She knows she can remember stuff that on the piano that I can't. Um,
yeah.
but I don't know why I got at it, but I think it's because I kind of lost interest, and I don't know why I did because the piano is such a movie instrument too. Um,
Well, I think that's a pretty common
yeah,
thing at that age.
yeah. Uh, but I
Lots
but
of
I
lots of other interests start impinging on our attention.
um, but I do have cerebral palsy, and I guess I couldn't do stuff with my right hand that I can with my left hand. So I
Yes.
guess that detoured me in the way of wanting to learn, possibly learning the guitar. So
Yes.
I figured that would be a
Yeah.
better instrument for me to play. Um, so uh, go hearing that you play the piano now and still has your attention. When you first played it, did you have a different way? Did you feel like a different way of expression playing the piano as opposed to playing the guitar? I mean, like, did it really speak
Um,
to you at first?
yeah, I think the piano has always spoken to me. There are those who say that we have a certain affinity with a certain instrument. Um, I think we became fast partners um, when I started playing the piano. When I was younger, it was one of many pastimes, and I was also interested in art, so I was doing lots of art as well. When I was young, I wasn't like some child prodigy or something. I just really loved it, and there was no question that I wanted to keep on doing it. It was not till I got into high school that it became really important for me. I don't. Do you want to hear that story?
Sure. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah.
So I guess you could say, like so many kids, I was a little bit more introverted and quiet and shy and sensitive, whatever you want to call all that stuff.
Mm, mm,
And when I got to high school, it's a bit of a culture shock when you get to high school. All these kids you don't know are coming in from other schools, and so I went to high school. Oh, this is so exciting! And that good old thing that we call bullying happened to me. Um, I wasn't expecting it. It kind of really literally sideswiped me. And I think the thing about bullying that's really horrible, I
Uh,
wasn't really physically bullied that much. There was the threat of that, so I was certainly scared, but it was the embarrassment and the humiliation, of being ridiculed in front of your peers. And, thank God I had a loving home to go back to. But
yeah,
because I was embarrassed about it, I didn't tell anyone. I wasn't going to tell my family. Like, I was just so embarrassed about it. So, but what happened at the same time was my piano teacher gave me a Chopin nocturne to learn. And I would say that was the first really kind of serious piece of classical music I'd been given. It was like a challenging piece to learn. But it was a slow, sad piece. And everything that I needed to express and what I was going through, I could express in that piece. And I could do it like without feeling threatened, like it was safe to express it that way. Um, and so that's when music stole my heart, was that moment when I got that piece and I learned that piece. Um, the other thing about it is that, my piano teacher would have a, a recital at the end of the year for all her students, and all the parents would come, and
right.
it would be quite a lavish affair. She really liked to do things big. She was kind of
Grand.
very Baroque. She had an old style home with the ornate gold trims on mirrors and the whole bit. So it was kind of like a really exciting thing for kids, right?
Right.
And I played that piece. And what happened after is, a number of people came up to me to say how moved they were by that. So then I got that not only is music healing for me, it's healing for others. So that was kind of like the big thing for me. And that's really what set me on the path of creating music, um, first to heal myself and then to heal others.
Yes, yes, and I'm so glad you mentioned that because my next question would be, so you are the musician who listens to the listener. That's so rare nowadays, because you find during the social media days, it's like it's all about them and what they want. It's never about what
Yes.
or what you need.
Yeah.
And since you mentioned that you got bullied, I was this was that a factor to help or to listen to? Uh,
Yeah, I think it's why I'm interested. I mean, music has so many purposes. I mean,
right.
it's to go and be happy and dance. It's to, they used to use it in war to like get get the
Get going,
soldiers in
right?
time and get them aggressive, like it has all these different purposes. But then when you go over into the field of meditation and yoga and things like that, it's got a nurturing quality, an element of creating peace and relaxation and healing. So, given my personal story, of course, that's where I've had an interest.
Right.
It led me down that path for sure.
Well, right,
Um,
right, right before we started recording this episode, I was researching into your um life and career, and
yes,
you have a website called Under the Piano, and
I
it's
do.
www.underthepiano.ca, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
CA for Canada. There
Right.
is an there
Yes.
is an underthepiano.com, but it's not me.
Oh,
It's I
oh,
think
okay.
it's yeah, so it's important to get the CA.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. But wanted to talk about that because I saw one of your clients testimonies, and she
Yes.
said that it was it felt like a musical spa or something. It just
Yes.
ran over, and she felt so good after it. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
so I'm gonna kindly ask you to explain to
Yeah,
my
we should
listeners.
explain what is this under the
Right,
piano? Like why would it be a more of a spa than any other piano music?
right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so first there's a little story to it. When I was a child, as I said, my mom was a very good piano player and she bought a grand piano. for up until 2 years ago. It's the grand piano I had, actually. I have a new one now, but my mom would play the grand piano, and she would play her Chopin and whatever, her Schubert and the stuff she was working on. And I used to crawl under the piano while my mom played. I would crawl under the grand piano, and when you're under the piano, it's kind of like a little fort. It's like, how kids, they like to build forts. It's kind of like that. And then you've got all this surround sound experience. And literally, your body is vibrating and resonating with the music. And it just feels great. So I used to do that as a kid, right? And, I got older and I said, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. An older kid would do that. No, I just
Right.
stopped doing it. It wasn't like conscious. I just stopped doing it. And then about, I guess it's 12 years ago now, I was in a piano store here in Vancouver. And I was really excited to be there because they sell these amazing Italian pianos called Faziolis. And they're relatively new on the block, but people are raving about them. I'd read about them, and I thought, there's a Fazioli store here in Vancouver. Ah!
Yes.
So I go in there, and I'm playing them, and they're just incredible. And there's one other pianist in there who I don't know playing them as well. And at some point, he was playing their 9-foot concert grand, the Fazioli concert grand. And I don't know why. I was just there. I guess I was feeling playful. I suddenly remembered being a kid crawling under the piano. And I walked over to him and I said, just keep playing. I'm gonna crawl under the piano. Like I was just goofing around, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I crawled under, and with a 9-foot piano, you can lie full lengthwise under there. So I'm lying there remembering my childhood. But I had forgotten how powerful the feeling was,
Right.
especially under a big piano like that. Like my whole body is like getting a massage with sound. I mean, it just felt great. I knew there was something about this.
Right.
So I went home and I kept thinking about it until finally I had some friends over, like 3 friends over, to see what they thought. So they took turns getting under my smaller grand piano, and I just improvised for a little while, which is another thing we'll talk about. Um, and they were all like, after the experience, they were all sitting there. This is not at all like listening to a piano from across the room. This is totally different. It's immersive. You are the piano practically,
Right. Yeah.
Um, and one of them said, you should do it as a business, and you should call it Under the Piano. So that's how it happened.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So people come and they sit on my couch. And the other piece that I alluded to is even though I'm a classically trained pianist, my passion is improvising. So I just love to sit down and make music up in the moment. And the beauty of that is someone tells you a story and they tell you about the emotions and their experience of that story. I can then create music to recreate that. So people tell me their stories about their lives. They tell me about what they're dealing with. They tell me about what they're creating, what they wish for. And I let them create some intentions if they want to. I would like my life to be like this or like that. And then they crawl under my piano. Often it's couples as well. And then I improvise for like 40 to 45 minutes. And I recreate what they shared with me in music.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
You have found a way how to make music. Like I don't know how to like the yeah, yeah, dude, I'm just blown away. I mean, that's one thing to listen to music, but to be able to actually feel music.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah. And
think
that's
anybody.
why, yeah, that's
Yeah,
why say I'm the musician who listens to the listener, because what I create is dependent on what they share with me about their lives.
right, right. So you do offer a few sessions, and you offer in person sessions and online
Yes.
sessions.
Yeah. Now the in-person sessions are like the Cadillac experience because you've got that
Right,
physical aspect.
right,
But when COVID came along, I stopped doing that. I stopped doing public performances. So I went online and I started playing around with doing it online, and I ended up doing Zoom concerts and under the piano sessions, because the ability to recreate what people are dealing with, that does go across the internet.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've seen enough people be moved to tears and in a profound way online to know that it totally works.
It does.
I wasn't sure it would at first.
Oh, oh no. So I guess your close friends was like the guinea pigs of it, right?
Yes,
It told
yeah.
it it told you, hey man, this is gonna work. Yes, right.
Yes.
So, yeah. So because I got um I'm clinically I was like clinically um depressed. You know, I took
Yes.
medication
Yeah.
and I just got recently off with my medication, so that's good, right? So, but
Yeah.
but I think that actual feeling the music is gonna be more of a major stress relief.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
if that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, so I can say a little bit about that. Like, I had an experience earlier in the days of Under the Piano that really shocked me. And one day, a woman who was visiting Vancouver came for a session, and she sat on my couch and she shared about in the last year that she had lost her son and she'd lost her husband,
Yeah,
both in the same year. Um, and so of course she went into a huge depression, and then she got into alcohol and became an alcoholic. So she was just like in this terrible space. And I'm not a therapist or anything, so I don't counsel people or give
right.
them
Yeah,
any
yeah,
psychological advice. I just listen.
yeah.
That's all I do. I just listen. And she got under the piano and I played what there was for me to play, and it was cathartic for her.
Yeah.
Like, it was cathartic. Um, and so I've seen this happen with a few people now, and I think there's some stuff that spoken words, cannot access that music can.
Yeah.
It goes places that spoken words
Yeah.
can't.
I mean, when words
Yeah.
when words fail, music does speak. You know.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
When I saw the name of your podcast, I went, "Oh."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're right. Because to have somebody to just listen to you talk about stuff, you know, whether it's
Yeah.
agreements, happiness. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that could save the world. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So um. I was going to ask you about the piano because there's something that I really don't understand about the piano, but it's
Uh-huh.
in ways that I can't understand. That's why I got the professional musician right here in
Yes.
front of me. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I was listening to your piece abandoned toys. Okay,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
found it kind of masterful because in one song I felt calm, uneasy, and sad all at the same time. And I don't know
Yes.
how, because the piano can do that. That I've been I felt all those three things all at once,
Mm.
and I haven't found another instrument that does it all at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're wondering why?
Oh, yeah, because
I I I, I
we
can
don't
guess
know.
at an answer.
Oh, okay, okay, because like I said before, I've never experienced that ever before, except for from a piano.
Yeah. I'm going to surmise. I'm not saying this is the answer,
Right.
but I think that one of the things about the piano that is really wonderful is that, first of all, it has an incredible range, you know, way down here up to here.
Right.
And, if you play in different ranges, there's a different mood. There's a different, if you play up high, there's a lightness to it.
Right. Yeah.
There's it doesn't have to be happy, but there's that feeling. Whereas if you play down low, there's a darkness to it. And other instruments can do that, but not to the degree that a piano can. So a piano is kind of like a standalone orchestra.
Okay, right.
Because
Right.
it can produce so many different colors.
Yeah. But yes.
And
Yes, it
so I
can.
think that might be why you can get those different ranges of moods.
Yeah.
I think all instruments can do it, but I think it's kind of amplified in a piano, maybe.
I believe you're right. Yeah, because I really don't feel at least two moods. You know, when the guitar playing, happy or sad. I don't feel both at
Yeah.
the same time, and that's just one of the questions I had for
Yeah.
you.
Well, and any instrument that is a harmony instrument has that advantage as well,
Okay, okay. I guess I
because
need.
they can play chords,
Right. Yes.
you know,
Yes.
change in mood right there just by changing the middle note of the chord.
Right. Yeah. So, uh, so I was gonna ask you this, but I think you've already answered, which is great. Um, I was gonna ask you. So you offer a musical experience of grief and hospice sessions for individuals, couples, and groups.
Yeah, that's been an interesting development. So, uh, so I've been doing all these sessions with individuals and couples. But with COVID, I started doing group sessions. So,
Right.
little intimate concerts and things like that. And not long ago, I met a death doula. And she's down in the States. We
Oh,
haven't met each
right.
other in person.
Oh, yeah. You never have. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Karen Mikas is her name, and she does hospice and grief work, and she has a business called the Quietest House. And so she and I did a program together not long ago, and she approached me and she said, how about we do a joint venture? I'll bring in, some of my clients who are grieving right now, and you can too if you know any, and I'll guide them in a conversation about, what they're dealing with, and then I'll do music to recreate what they share.
Right. That's awesome.
So that's what we're going to do. We called it Remember, Reflect, and Renew,
Right.
and that's coming up soon, April 23rd.
Right. Which is
Yeah.
Saturday at 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, Eastern time. Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think
or
you
2 to 3:30 Pacific time.
You're right, yeah, because I find that time zones frustrating, you know.
Yes.
So, everybody can get them on evenright.com. I will post a link below on the
That's great.
description, and
Yeah.
everybody can go there or come
Yeah.
online, right? I mean, you can view this on through Zoom.
Yeah, the whole thing is online.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. But we are limiting it to just, no more than 12 people. Because we don't, it's a pretty intimate personal
Right.
conversation.
Yeah.
And we want to give everybody time to share who wants to share, and still have plenty of time to make music to recreate what people share with us.
Right.
Yeah.
When you have people actually come in and do this under the table, right?
It's so funny. So many people say that under the table.
I'm not the first, right? And I'm not gonna be the last. So
It
I do
adds a certain unsavory quality to it.
Oh my god, dude! I'm so sorry.
No, don't be. Don't be sorry. I think it's hilarious, and it's just so funny how many people say it.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, so under the piano. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. When you have people come in and do this under the piano,
Yes.
right? Okay, so uh, okay, so it's got to be real hard for you to experience their grief as well as taking your grief away.
Yeah.
How do
Yes.
how do you how do you prepare for a session with people who are grieving, just like the client who lost the fun
Yeah.
and I mean, like, how do you mentally prepare?
Yeah, it's interesting, I think part of being a musician is, being a musician is, music is really the world of emotion. I would say more so than any art. I mean, they all are, but music is, on an abstract level, all emotion. Um, so, we are stuck with this thing. If you're going to be a good musician, you have to be able to convey emotion.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to be a professional.
Right,
You
right,
can't get so swept away by the emotion that you can't do your job.
right,
Like, a singer, if you get too emotional as a singer, you can't sing.
right. Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's like that for me. I find often I get more emotional a day or two later.
Okay.
Like maybe I'll mention I'll mention someone I had a session, that was pretty emotional the other day, and that's when I get emotional.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
At the time, it's not that I'm unfeeling and cold and
Right.
calculating at the
Yeah,
time, but
yeah.
I think I've just from having been in the world of conveying emotion in music, I've just developed, the
Yeah.
capacity not to get too swept away by it.
Right.
That's my answer.
That's perfect because my next question was, do you find it easier as you go along? But I guess it really is not easier for anybody, for you or for your clients. Well, I guess it would be easier
Yeah.
after your clients experience you're under the piano. Haha, I got it right there. Yeah, but yeah, but for I don't think it will get easier. Will it? I mean, like you like
Well, I
the
think, I would say the day it gets easier is the day I need to be worried,
right.
you know,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
true. Yeah,
because I don't know. Uh,
right.
my job is to be connected to that and to convey that. And if it's getting too easy, maybe
Right.
it's time for
I'm
something else.
right, right. Yeah. Yeah. But before we before we got on here, you mentioned that you wanted to play something for us.
Yeah, I'd be happy
Yeah.
to. Um,
Yeah. So this will be
so
the.
do you want to create an intention?
Oh, sure. Yeah. This was gonna be. Oh, yeah. All right. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, we're doing this how you would talk to your clients at the
Yeah.
end, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's something you're dealing with or something that you would like to create in your life? Um, say a little bit about something like that.
Something that well, I'm in a pretty good time in my life right now.
Hmm.
I got a great job, great podcast talking to musicians like you. As I said before, I'm off my depression medication, so
Yeah.
there's really not a thing that I'm struggling with as of right
Okay.
now. So I don't
Hmm.
know, if that helps or hinders you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, then I'll ask you this: what is something that you would like to create for yourself?
for myself.
Yeah.
I would like for everybody to that's feeling depressed and lonely to know that everything's gonna be okay in the end.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what this podcast is for. It's not for me, it's for the depressed and anxiety like me or my co-host.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because I know what they're going through and it sucks, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm getting
Yeah.
teary right now just thinking about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to.
Okay.
I just want everybody to feel okay, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay, so I'll express a little bit of that darkness, and then coming out of that, there's something beyond that.
okay,
Does that work?
yeah, that works. Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna mute my voice mic so it doesn't pick up unwanted stuff.
that got me. Yeah. Um, see, that's what I'm talking about. I feel so many emotions when you play that for me.
Mm,
Oh, so amazing. Thank you very much.
yeah,
I
you're
do
welcome.
really do appreciate that.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. We do have two more questions for you before we go.
Okay.
Um
Yeah.
which artists which bands artists do you go to? Well, one question, and this is what fantastic. Everybody gets like has to think about it so much. Is there a band or artist that you can listen to, but you can't tell me or your family members or your friends how it makes you feel inside of you? It's so
I can't.
ingrained in
Oh,
your soul.
um, there are. There's two. One of them is a German fellow named Niels Fromm. He's a pianist, um, and I love his music. He has this unusual quality of kind of bringing a classical sensibility to his music in that he cares about the quality of the sound immensely, but at the same time he's very creative and on the edge. Like he does really strange things.
Right. Which is
and
awesome.
and I like him too because like even though he has that sensibility, his audience is quite young, much younger than me actually. um, so he's one, and it's hard to say. It's hard to say why I like his music so much,
Yeah.
for sure. Another one, I don't know if it's hard to say why I like his music. He doesn't play like me at all, but he's my god, and that's Keith Jarrett,
Okay.
who is a world famous jazz pianist. Um, and way back, I think it's the 70s, don't quote me on the when he did it. He became famous for walking onto a stage and sitting down at a piano and then playing a 2-hour concert without anything planned. It's all
Oh,
improvised.
nice. Nice. Oh,
And he's an I don't play like him at all. I mean, he's a very world-renowned jazz pianist. Um, but he's always been like this thing that I just look up to with a huge admiration. And so even though I don't play like him, I model myself after him in that I can just sit down and create on the spot like I just did for a long time.
right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Because yeah, music moves you in so many ways, and sometimes you can't explain it.
Yes.
Like I have
Yeah.
a few of them that I can't. I I I could try my hardest to tell you how much I can't do it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's probably why no one's figured out how to make a hit. If they really knew how to do it, then everybody
Right.
would be writing
Right.
hits.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody would be doing this in their professional career. But I honestly do thank you for coming on, and I thank you for the song. That was wonderful. And we
Thank you.
hope you come back anytime you want to. Please come back
Oh,
anytime you want to.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
once again, you can see Mr. Craig Addy at the Remember, Reflect, and Renew session on Saturday, April 23rd, 2022, from 5 o'clock p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on online Zoom event.
Yeah.
And
I'll
you
send
can
you I'll
also,
send you the link there for the registration page.
yes, please do. And you
Yeah.
can also visit him on Facebook and Twitter under Craig Addy. You can visit
Yeah.
his two sites under the piano.ca and
Yes.
craigaddy.com, right? Yes, .com.
Yeah. Yeah. And the craigaddy.com is my more current one, simply that, I've expanded my offerings beyond under the piano now. So
Okay.
it's more sensible to have, the various kinds of concerts and stuff I'm doing on
Yeah,
there.
because
So
you do offer piano lessons too online too, right?
yeah, I do. I don't have a lot of students, but I do like teaching. So yeah.
Right. And he's got a Patreon for anybody who wants to support him. It's patreon.com/Craig Addy. He's
Yeah.
got 7 tier levels you can go through. They're all great. I encourage everybody to deeply support him. Uh, this has been fun. Thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on, sir.
It's been a pleasure. Thank
Uh,
you so much, James.
Yes, sir. All right. Nice. That was, dude. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah,
It was fun. I really enjoyed myself.
great. I'm glad you had
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm always curious about if people have fun or not. And the majority is yes. So I'm
Yeah.
glad
Well,
you enjoyed
I mean, musicians love talking about music, so.
it. They do. And I love talking about music too, because dude, I'm the most passionate person. So yeah,
Yeah.
the music
Yeah.
does wonderful things. So yeah. So we do have an episode series called Cover Wars, where we
Uh-huh.
take one song covered by two bands and we discuss
Yes.
which one's better. Would you be at
Yes.
all interested in that?
Probably not.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because
So I would be on there to say which one I think is better. Is that what you mean?
okay, so you would tell me your favorite song.
Yeah.
I would go out and see who covered that song by two
Yes.
bands, and then we would listen to them together, and then we
Oh,
would
I
discuss
see.
which one's a little bit better.
Oh, well, no, I wouldn't be opposed to that. That would
Okay.
probably be pretty fun.
Okay, yeah, because I'm getting great reactions from musicians.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
figure musicians can hear something that I can't, and I can
Yeah, and
give
different
it my side
musicians
up.
have different and different musicians listen to different things too. Like they listen for different things.
Yes, yeah, something that I can never pick up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, if you're interested in that, please let me know later on, and then we'll get you. Just think about your
I can choose any well-known song.
any well-known song from pop,
Yeah.
rock,
It doesn't.
metal, country, whatever.
Yeah.
Or
And it can
or
even be from from the past as long as it's well known.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Because I like to do well-known songs because of nobody heard of that song.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like
Of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So yeah, yep. Any genre, any year, yeah,
Yeah.
decade, I guess I
Okay.
would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please let's keep in touch, man. This is great.
Yeah. It's been great. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And
Okay.
I love your message and
Oh,
what you're
thank
doing.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel the need to spread love everywhere, and I feel
Yeah.
that's not spread enough. You know. So okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All
Beautiful.
right. Good. Yeah. Good to talk to you. And
So I'll send you that recording as
yes,
well.
please do. Please do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Just
feel free to use it or not. It doesn't matter.
okay.
Whatever you
Oh,
choose and whatever's easiest for you.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Craig.
Thank you.
You're the man. All right.
Bye.
Bye now.